Now for our 1 foot takeoff, the same rules apply. Now on the 1 foot takeoff, nobody does better from a slow start. All right, everybody does better with faster approaches. Now you do want to make sure that you're not starting fast and then slowing down. Of course, like always, just like with our 2 foot approach, we got to build speed late in the jump. We cannot slow down. Okay, so for this, I just want you to really start back pretty far. And I want you to build up the speed by taking either just a small rhythm step or start out of a skip and then build speed from there. All right. Now, on the penultimate, this is where it varies. So everybody off a 2 foot approach does really well with a long penultimate stride. Now, on the 1 foot approach, some people don't do well with taking that long penultimate stride. So the penultimate stride, if I'm jumping off the right, would be the left foot. Like for me, I like taking just a normal size step because we don't necessarily have to lower the hips that much like we do in the 2 foot approach. Because if I lower my hips really low, then now I got basically less elasticity and more muscular power, which on one leg, we don't have that much muscular power. So on 1 leg jumps, I would say keep your strides pretty consistent and don't worry about the penultimate stride. Just do what's natural for you. Okay, now we want to think about minimal knee bends. So on a 1 foot takeoff, I can never have a collapse in the torso. I gotta keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. So if I'm taking off with my left foot, I'm gonna reach, don't overstride because then we have to pull ourselves back, our center of gravity back over the leg, but take a normal size stride and I need my shoulders directly over the hip. And then when I go to take off, I probably don't want any more than like a 45-degree angle with that knee. And everybody's a little bit different, but we do not want to lower very low. If you watch like LeBron or any great 1 leg jumper, they're not going to sink down into the joint. So we think about joint stiffness, keep a relatively stiff knee, and then we're off the ground nice and quick. Now the thing is, the arm swing completely changes. So when you're on a 2 foot approach, arm swing is good big counter movement arm swing, but on 1 foot, that counter movement arm swing slows us down too much. So we do want a counter movement arm swing, but it's gonna be very small and it's gonna depend on a lot of factors, but most people are gonna actually bend the elbows instead of keeping the elbows straight. So if you bend the elbows and bring it back to right about there, then we can really use those arms without slowing us down. But if you try to keep straight elbows and you try to get long with it, pinky to earlobe, then it would be way too slow on that takeoff, and that big arm swing would kind of cause our torso to fall forward a little bit, and we can't have that on the single leg jump. Okay, so try some different arm swings out, but I want you to think about keeping it pretty minimal and nice and quick. Now everything changes, of course, when we have a basketball. Now we can't get any counter movement arm swing. So if I'm taking off with a basketball, there's really 2 main styles that make people successful off 1 leg. So there's the AI style. I call this the AI style because Allen Iverson used to always do this. So people that really get off the ground quick, a lot of times do better with this. So they come in, they get the ball in one hand and they get it above shoulder height. So then the ball is ready. Now the limiting factor is just how fast you can get off the ground, right? So Allen Iverson would come in here, he'd put it in one hand, and then he'd take off from that position. I actually get a lot higher off that AI style because I do get off the ground really quick. So if the ball is ready for me and the limiting factor is just the ground contact time, that's gonna make me excel in that single leg jump. But the majority of people, a lot of people do better with a swing. So that would mean if I'm jumping off my left foot, I would pick up the ball here, I would take that left foot stride, and I would swing. So I would have the ball on the outside of my left hip. And then what the good thing about this is I get more concentric power with that arm swing because I have a diagonal rip now. So I'm here, hard, explosive diagonal rip, and it's at the same time as that right knee. So I'm ripping up with the ball, I'm ripping up with the right knee at the same time. You got to try all the different styles of the ball positioning on a single leg jump, find out what you're the most successful with. Now keep in mind, you need everything. Unless you're just a professional dunker, if you're a basketball player, we're not always going to be able to go through the lane and get it here in our perfect scenario. There's a lot of time where we're going to have to swing. There's a lot of times where I have a defender here and I can't swing. So I also got to work on keeping it outside and getting as high as I can like that, or pinning it to the body, or extending all the way outside. So of course, there's a million different things that we got to work on, but right now for the jump mechanics, I just want you to work on kind of what works best for you and figure out what that is so that when you're going to dunk, you have one go-to that you can really take to that next level. Okay, and now also keep in mind that we have to be able to jump off the left and the right leg. So normally a right-handed athlete is going to jump better off of that left leg, but we also have to be able to jump off that right leg. So of course, in our training, we're going to practice these equally, but just keep in mind that one leg is probably going to be, a little bit more awkward than the other because it doesn't get as many reps. We don't use that leg as often. And sometimes the leg that's stronger doesn't actually provide the biggest jump height. So most people, their right leg is going to be stronger, like in squatting. Like if you do a pistol squat, that right leg is going to be stronger, but you actually jump higher off the left because you have more reps and it might have more elasticity, but that right leg is normally the stronger one that you actually don't jump the highest with. But I need you to practice both sides, get used to jumping off both legs. Now, if you want to go off the right and try to dunk with the left, great, or if you want to go off the right and try to dunk with two, or even right to right, we want variability. You want to practice different stuff. You want to expose your body to different stuff, different movements, even movements that you're not used to doing in a game. Variability is the key to movement. Variability is the key to longevity. So it's never a bad thing to get out and practice these things that are kind of awkward for you.